Welcome back, everyone. Let's pick up with income and expenditure statements. An income and expenditure statement shows actual income and expense costs. Unlike a budget where we worked with estimations, this is actual costs. This will show us whether we are in a surplus or a deficit. It is best to do a budget first and income and expenditure statement second. Budget to estimate our costs, income and expenditure statements to get the actual costs, and we can see how far off or how close we were. This allows us to see if we stuck to our budget, there we go, or where we need to make changes to it in the future. All right, there we go. This is an example of an income and expenditure statement. So again, very similar to a budget, but remember this is actual costs. In this case, incomes, expenses, and then at the bottom, income minus expenses to check if we have a surplus or a deficit. Right, let's do an example. The following are a household's monthly income and expenses. Complete an income and expenditure statement for this household. Okay, they live on the following monthly income. They have a state pension of 1,140 Rand, which I've included. The disability grant, there it is, 1,140 Rand. Then a salary of 5,250 Rand. This month, one of the children fell ill, and they have additional medical expenses of 500 Rand. So that would be an occasional expense. Let's look at all the other expenses. The household has the following expenses. We look at rent, 2,300 Rand, transport, 520 Rand, cell phone, 200 Rand, the prepaid expenses, the water bill, TV contract, the loan repayment, there it is, furniture store account, clothing store account, groceries, and then the medical expenses. Remember, the initial medical expenses was 75 Rand, but one of the children were ill, so there was an additional 500 Rand added on. And that's how we got to 575. We total this, you get 7530 for income and 8690 for expenses. So we can see, if we subtract the two now, that, this particular household is in a deficit. All right, budgets versus income and expenditure statements. Okay. Personally, we usually do budgets at the start of the month and an income and expenditure statement at the end of the month in order to see if we budgeted correctly. For events, we do a budget during the planning stage, the initial stage, when you're still trying to figure out what the theme of the party is and whether you want balloons and decorations and all sorts of things, what type of cake you're going to have, stuff like that. And an income and expenditure statement after the event to see what the total cost of your party was. Okay, this is an example of an income and expenditure statement. Notice how there's a column for difference. That's this one. That's the difference column. And what that basically shows is we have budgeted for a specific amount. We've actually paid that amount. And the difference between the two would go into my difference column to see if we budgeted correctly or were we too much over. So let's see the first one, venue. We budgeted an initial amount of 5,000 Rand. We actually spent 6,500 Rand. The difference is a negative 1,500 Rand. I've put it in red as well to show that we are actually spent too much money there. But catering, we budgeted 6,000 Rand. We actually spent 5,000 Rand. So we made 1,000 Rand more than we thought we would. And that's a good thing. Decor, negative 500 Rand. That's a deficit. Beverages, negative 100 Rand, another deficit. But the DJ, 500 Rand plus, surplus. Good thing. Flowers, 500 Rand plus. Good thing. Now look at the next one. This is 0. And that is the case when the budgeted amount, in this case 100 Rand, and the actual amount, also 100 Rand. And if we subtract those, we get 0, which means we budgeted 100% accurate. Chairs, minus 150, another deficit, and the birthday cake, minus 200 Rand. That is also a deficit. Last thing we do now, we total the budget column, 16,200 Rand. We total the actual column, 16,650 Rand. And if we subtract the 2, if we minus the 2, we got a deficit of negative 450 Rand. And this tells us that we actually budgeted less than we should have. Thanks everyone for listening today. Looking forward to chatting to you guys again. Take care. Bye-bye.